Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Oh my God! KO in midair!
Hey, what's up everyone? We're back. Today video, well, it was supposed to be a video yesterday, which may have appeared on some of your guys' home screens for a moment, but that was before I had somebody let me know there were some sound issues to it, which for some reason didn't come up while I was editing it, but yeah. So, not a Hawk 30 game. That will come up maybe next video. Well, I'll put that one up. But yesterday, as some of you may have been following past couple days, or last week or so, since I've gotten the Draugen, I've been kind of on a mission to 3 market. I don't know why. Just I get along fairly well. It's one of my favorite tanks right now. Even though I've only had it for about a week and a half, I've put a lot of time into it. Thanks to the situation going on. But yeah, it's been kind of painful because if you don't know about this tank, with the 480 Alpha Hesh, the requirements for the 3 market are super high right now. I believe we looked over the stats a couple days ago that the 3 mark requirements is around 4,000 damage average in a tier 8 tank, which is pretty ridiculous, especially when you compare it to the lowest tier 8 to 3 mark, which is the D44, which takes half of that to 3 mark at around 2,000 damage. So it should tell you how frustrating this may have been, especially with some of the matchmaking we had. I think it was Friday or something like that. We had some really bad matchmaking when we were trying to 3 mark this. Not a lot of good maps, a lot of little corridor city maps that weren't very good. Stuff getting like Berlin Assault and Roomberg Assault, which are just abominations that are just awful. But these games are on some maps that were more suited to it. Not really the second map, but we'll get into that. We'll see. First game was from, I think, earlier last week. This was when I was going for, I think, maybe the second mark at this point. I can't really tell by the barrel at this kind of angle. Maybe we'll see it a little bit. However, I'm going to, it's LLMA, which is a fairly decent map. I don't mind it. I actually kind of prefer it. Pretty good sightline and stuff for mediums. We're firing a lot of Hesh because the reload on this gun, as we know, is very long. I like this position because you can spot some people that like to take a shortcut over to the far flank over there, like this KV4, and spot them. Or occasionally, if your team's light scouts that opposite cliffside, you can get some pretty decent shots. And here we're using the bushes, and this palm tree is covered to really abuse this KV4's cupola here. We have 210 pen Hesh, which is barely just enough to pen it, but at a certain angle it's not going to go in. As he flattens though, we're going to have an easy time penning that. And we're just using this one bush on LLMA to our advantage, which is funny because there's not many on the entire map because it's a desert map. But if we find it, we will make it work. But he's finally getting in the cover, and I know there's going to be other TDs probably spotted or not sitting up on that hill opposite of us, so I'm going to be kind of cautious. I don't want to rush in and just chase the damage. It's definitely not the way to go here. Just being patient at this point. Also taking into mind that they have 2 artillery, and then we come across this ball car who's just floating around, trying not to get shot by him. This is not the best medium tank to be circling people in. I'm just using the terrain to my, not terrain, but the surroundings to my advantage. I'll be able to put 2 shots into him, but like I said, it's not the fastest turning medium tank. You really shouldn't be circling people in this at all, because between the reload and the kind of sluggish turning radius, it's not very good for that. It's not like a Russian medium or something like that. But you see this game, we're down 4 tanks already. We're barely 4 minutes, not even 4 minutes in yet. And now we're just going to take out this Bison T103. And we still are keeping in mind, too, there's 2 artillery. And also there is this bog car who's not on a mission to kill us, but he's in this general area. Wait for him to fire, and he does, so I'm going to take that opportunity to go in. He's one of the few tanks that I feel like I can actually outturn, just because of how slow the turret rotation is on that, but our reload is so slow that even with that, we're going to take some shots and we boggle the kill shot there. So not really good play there, but kind of illustrating the weaknesses of this tank. It's not the traditional medium in terms of circling. I don't want to go this way, again, because they're still going to have TDs up there, and that's just going to be a crossfire, and it's not a good place for us to be at. So just thinking a little bit and just extending further left to get out of that view range there, hopefully to avoid that. We don't know what's in their base. We don't want to get lit up by artillery or a TD and then get taken out by their RD, so just being a little cautious here. So we have to play with going for marks, you have to play a little more cautiously, while also balancing that with aggressiveness, just to see the best benefit in terms of getting assisted damage and also preserving your own hit points so you're not taken out of the game too early. As here, I think I spotted the already firing, and I started taking a few blind shots, which is fine because we have a lot of time and we have a ton of ammo. We're never going to run out of ammo in the Draugen. I don't think it's even hypothetically possible to fire all your rounds in this tank. Maybe it is, I'm not sure, but somebody wants to do the math on that. 65 rounds over 15 minutes. I'm not trying to do that math in my head right now, but I don't think it's possible. Maybe it is, but I doubt that's ever going to happen. So why not take some speculative blind shots? I know they're capping our base. We have a minute and 3 seconds. I'll take one more just as a guess. Then I run into a rock for good measure, just to assert my dominance and get my head in the game a little bit. But we have one medium who's going back towards the base. I'm not too worried about us losing this. He gets taken out, but again, we still have 45 seconds thanks to the extended cap timers on this variant of this map. Or variant, but this map is one of the bigger ones, so the cap timer is extended, which is nice. That is a good idea. Gives your team actual time to react, not just, hey look, we're on the opposite side and we only have a minute and 30 and there's only one tank capping. Yes, we lose. There are still some other maps I'd like to see that added too, but I like that it's a feature that was added a while ago. Now we're just going up into a position. We got to be a little more aggressive here, trying to spot the cap here.
Ready to fire.
And we spot the 130. Maybe we do. And we put a hesh round in.
Target acquired.
That's the right call there, because either all their tanks left are easy to pen or they're one shot, so there's no point in wasting the APCR when we can just splash somebody. Regardless, we're going to reset there. A little risky that the RDs weren't aimed at me. We're only on 400 health. So hypothetically, we are easily a one shot there for equalizers, regardless of what gun they're using. And just keeping a look at what tanks they have left. We're down to a 2v4 now. We've kind of maintained that mark at this point where we were at 3,200. But again, once you get up to like 94%, you're going to need to average about 4,000 damage to really bump it up. And that's only bumping it up slightly. If you really want to make progress on it, aka doing like 0.3%, 0.4%, you're going to have to do about 6k plus combined to move the marks up to 3 on this tank in particular. So keep that in mind, I guess. If you're going for 3 marks on this tank as well, and be prepared for a battle. I think this tank took, we'll get into that later. I will do that after the second game. Well, I'll let you know. But let's just say I played a lot of games in this thing the past week and a half, 2 weeks or so, since I've got my hands on it. So now in this game, it's me and a mobile Burt, which is good, actually. Having the tier 8 Burt, you can actually move around and reposition fairly easily, so you would think you wouldn't get taken out super easily in this game. My biggest caution with this now is I'm going against a Swedish TD on a wide open map with only 400 hit points. That's not exactly the winning scenario. I'm trying to spot Artie here a little bit, but also just trying to see if I can spot anyone, to be honest. I just don't want to get caught out in the open, and you actually do pick up a spot on the one Artie, slam a hesh round into him, and we immediately lose our artillery as well, unfortunately. And just try to get into cover because they're platoon, so I'd imagine he's going to want to avenge his buddy's death. Now I know where the Swedish TD is at, and I'm going to go hunt him a little bit. I don't know if this is totally the right idea here, but I think at this point that the other TD I'm thinking is AFK. That's a T25/2. He doesn't have any kills this game. Nobody has seen him, basically. So my kind of understanding there is he's probably AFK in the base, which you still have to be careful about because AFK tanks can still spot you. And we'll see that in a little bit, but it's a pretty good indication that he's not playing or he's disconnected or something like that's happened. So it's basically a 2v1 at this point. However, there's still a third team that can spot us, and it's the Swedish ED reels around behind us. Unfortunately, our snapshot does not go in, and we're panicking a little bit here as we drive to the wall. I'm just trying to avoid artillery and the Swedish ED. They already hits one of them because equalizer things. And now the Swedish ED pops up. We do put one into his track, and that is enough just to keep him pinned in place and not be able to follow us. And now I just need to get out of here, disengage, and fall back to a longer distance engagement here. He's on 600 health. He has artillery support. There's no way I would win that fight at all. That's a lose-lose scenario there. So I need to make a hasty retreat and try to come at this from a different direction. I know about where the artillery fired from, and it was about where I was blind firing earlier. At least I thought, back towards their base. However, I guess he moved, so we don't actually spot him back here. But this game has just been a lot of running around, repositioning, and running all over the place. Still got 4.5 minutes left. I always like these games. They're the most interesting. They're annoying when you lose them, I will be completely honest. I've lost a few in the past couple days that have just been like my total fault. And it's just like, I could have easily won that and had a big game. I had a really good turtle game on Westfield, and I just did something really dumb. I was already at like 5k damage, and there's like six or seven tanks left. Like, it's just like, it's annoying. But this game we're going to try not to do that, and we'll see. There's some interesting moments coming up on LLMA, which has some of my weirder or funnier moments in tanks. I don't know why. There's another game I posted probably a year ago in me and a PvP, and I was literally circling around a Jaeger in the open field, reloading, and I had to re-clip him while also avoiding someone else. It was just totally weird as we do pick up T25/2 on the spot. Again, a little unfortunate that he is AFK, but he is spotting us. I'm also kind of aware that artillery is still in the game, so I try to put myself in the best already safe position possible by sitting myself right next to this giant cliff. We all know how realistic that term is, saying already safe. I've been sat between a whole row of houses and still get clicked on, regardless, but trying our best as the barrage mode comes in and all of them miss, so our idea to try to prevent that does work, which is good. I know the Swedish TD has to be pushing this way at this point. I could stay here, and this would actually be a bad position to fight him from if there wasn't artillery. The fact that there's already, it makes it kind of tough there. Just simply put, I may get one shot off, and artillery is probably just going to light me up because I can't shoot from that position where I was just already safe from. And then here's one of the weirdest moments. I'm like, okay, why isn't he spotting us? We're at 200 meters. Okay, so maybe it's that group. And then I shoot, and he still doesn't spot us. Maybe I killed his commander. Spoiler alert, I didn't kill his commander. This is one of the weirdest things I've probably ever seen in World of Tanks. And I think all the chat at this point was going, what in the world? Secretly, I'm disengaging my community contributor hacks right there. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. Apparently I have a cloaking device on my tank and I cannot be seen by anyone. So, again, this map has some of the weirdest, funkiest moments I've ever been a part of. But thanks to that, we are now down to a 1v1 and seeing where the artillery is at. And this is requiring some critical thinking at this point. We only have 1 minute and 30. The arty shells came in from the other side of the map, obviously. So I know I gotta go over there, and I was trying to base it off where they last came from. And from him not to hit me, I was thinking probably to the left over here, for him not to be able to have a shot on me. If he had been on the right side, he probably could have hit me. However, I'm thinking about this at this point, like the fact that he is going to just sit still, and he has obviously been moving around a lot. So I'm going to actually cut down the middle and see if I can't maybe cut him off while he's moving somewheres and just extend the view range to the largest part of the map possible, giving us the best chance. Because otherwise this game could end in a win or a loss regardless, based off of hit points done, and I never like leaving it up to that because that's basically team dependent on who had the more hit points at the beginning of the game, based on team makeup. So if I can kill him, that'd be a lot better. Again, I'm trying to figure out where he's at. We only have 30 seconds left, and at this point I was like, oh, we're never going to find him, we're never going to see him, never, ever, ever. And at the last second, 20 seconds in, we spot him, but he's sitting behind a rock. We don't actually have a shot on him, and then for some reason he pulls out, thinking I guess that I was coming up from the other side. I don't know why, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And we finished him off with about 8 seconds left on the clock there. For the, I think it was 1v3 clutch, but again, I think the one guy was AFK, so not really that. As you finish off the 1v2 there. But, really good game, funny game. Had some weird moments there. As you pick up the Top Gun, 2000 base XP, and about 5200 damage. Limited assisted damage, but I assisted in that position, you're not really going to get much. So, good game, and yeah, that's about what you're gonna have to average in this thing to really see progress on the marks there. Like I said, it was rough, especially with some of the maps. You're gonna have to average that 4,000 damage or so, and I generally fired a lot of Hesh even in tier 10 games, generally just because even if I don't pen, I will do damage generally, or I will blow the tracks off the tanks. So that's the general consensus there of why I would fire primarily Hesh. It's just maximizing the DPM also. But yeah, let's move on to the next game where I was so thrilled to get mines in a +2 matchmaking environment. Some of you may know I do not care for this map at all. I think it's pretty broken in terms of whoever wins the hill, probably 8 or 9 times out of 10 wins the game, and that can be all dependent on the tank makeups on each side. So if one team has more mediums or such, this spawn that I'm in actually has a better spot. But this game, lucky for us, I'm not going hill because this thing gets lit on fire with a 20% chance, so that's a bad idea. Get shot in the side, you get lit on fire, you land one nicely into the Ramatel Panzerwagen. But there's no artillery, so I'm going to utilize this position actually, which is really good. Also, good alternative for the hill if you're in a slightly slower but still fairly quick medium, like this, or a lower tier. Actually put another shot into a T-62A. This game I think is, this is my 3rd mark game. Luckily, I actually get to show one for once. But yeah, this is not my favorite map by far. I cringed when I saw this pop up. But luckily for us, the saving grace is there's no arty in this game, so we can actually utilize this spot as we track the T-62A for already our 3rd shot of damage and picking up some assisted damage on a map that's not great for getting any assist. So it's good for us, and we're going to pick back out and take out the T-62A for that last little bit of health. If I really want to be greedy, I could have just shot the Carnarvon and tracked him, which is maybe the right play for marks wise, as we try to shoot the Carnarvon, but that was the upper plate and bounces off, so unfortunate there. And at this point, there's not really much else pushing the hill. If they have a lot more tanks there, it can be a little more fun in terms of tracking. And this hard case is kind of also here, and he's just kind of sticking out and always being spotted. So the trick with that spot is poking out occasionally, not doing it at regular intervals, and you can kind of catch people with their turrets, more focused on tanks that are always spotted in front of them. Being a little sneaky there. They have a couple mediums down on the island, which can be an issue. Just got to keep that in mind. I think I'm going to load the Hesh in a minute, because now we're on top of the hill. We're going to fire this one more APCR round, hopefully. This Pantera is doing what I would like to have done, and poked over and shot these people. At least once before they realize, hey, there's a spot where you get shot. I'm using 3rd person here, and I can clearly see the T-30 just staring up here, so I'm not going to poke out. It's a bad idea. One bad way to get smacked for half my health or more. or possibly die. Because again, fuel tanks is on the side and they're a 20% chance. And here's where I should have just loaded Hesh. T-54 at that angle is an orange pen marker, which isn't, it's only maybe 50-50 at best. And at this point, if I just fire Hesh, I would probably at least do splash damage and possibly tracking for somebody else to shoot. So I just gave up there and move on to hopefully easier targets. I am spotted in this position, and there's an E4 back there. There's a rock to my left, but nobody's looking at me at the moment. So I'm going to poke out and do a whopping 42 damage now that I load the Hesh and slam it into the Conqueror's side turret. So that was really good. However, the T-30 is distracted again. He just fired into a Chieftain, and we're going to take advantage of that. Pop over, and just, yeah, we're going to take him down. And this game's advancing pretty rapidly. I got to make a move here, make a call. I think most of their team is either sitting in the back or on the island side, and nobody's in their base at this point that I'm aware of. I know the 2 TDs are in the normal TD spot. Their 3 mediums are down on the low part, and their heavies are all near the hill or dead now. So we're free to kind of flank them and get side shots in this case. So we come up and spot the Conqueror. I'm aiming above the tracks here carefully and put it in his engine deck. Just hoping for a fire there. We do hit the fuel tank, so we don't set him ablaze. It's unfortunate. Again, our magic number for this game, I think we were at 94.77 off the Conqueror. Maybe even higher at this game. Maybe like 94.86, something like that. I was aiming for about 4K to 5K. And that would probably be enough to send us up and over the 3rd mark. As we pick up the spot on the 140, that one, when he's tracked, misses. Somebody is looking at us all the way over here. It is likely the 140 here. We still have to Hesh load it. I'm going to blind fire. We do hit him, and we actually set him on fire, and I think I pinned that. So a little bit of lucky RNG there. Keeping the spot on the E4, but we're not picking up any assisted damage there. And we're going to try another one on the 140, and nice pen on the lower plate, I suppose, there. The 210 pen. That's probably the only way that actually hit. And now we're in a pretty good position. We're at about 34, 3,500 combined, but I need to make this game really count. So we're going to have to be more aggressive. And my eyes are kind of set on the M60, who's the healthiest left. I put one into the E4, maybe hoping it pens the turret, because I really don't want to cross right in front of an E4. There's a little bit of dip in the low ground, so it makes it kind of a hard target for me. I'm quick enough, and I just, I was fed up. I'm like, I'm not playing another game of this thing. I'm not doing it. And we pick up the spot on the M60, slam the head shell in for 520. Super nice roll there. And we're just trying to farm as much hit points out of this guy as possible before this game ends. All other 3 tanks on their team that are left, 2 tanks left on their team are all like basically one-shots, while he has all the hit points left. So I'm really focused on him in terms of getting that damage off of him, or maybe even getting the assist. He's looking for the drive wheel there, and he pops out again. I don't quite pull the trigger there because I had some lag, and I have an 8-second reload, so I want to make the shell count if I can. That one unfortunately only does 113, hits the tracks. I was hoping to maybe at least track him, and now I'm just pushing in so I get that side turret, and we get it. So we rack up 3,800 damage and 600 assists, and that was just enough. Like I said, about 4,500 combined there on mines in a tier 10 game. I was not expecting this to happen. As you'll see, we pick up the 3rd mark on mines in a +2 situation, which is again not the most favorable, and we also had the blind shot. So we actually did almost closer to 5k damage combined, I almost forgot, on the 140. So this 3rd mark was painful, I will be completely honest. It took me, for a tier 8 tank, 150 something, 152 I think games to 3 mark this, which is ridiculous. 4k damage is almost pushing like tier 10 levels, the 3 mark tanks. Pretty close to it. So just to give you an idea of that roundabout of what you're aiming for, that's it. But yeah, this is the hardest tier 8 to 3 mark in the game in terms of requirements. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. See ya.